Chop, the original Guillotine League podcast. Everything you need to know to avoid the chopping block. Chop is brought to you by GuillotineLeagues.com. Now, your host, Paul Charchian.
Hello and welcome to Chop, the Guillotine League podcast. We are here to support the greatest format of season-long fantasy football play ever invented, Guillotine Leagues. And I'm now introducing a man whose September fab budget is tighter than the middle seat on Spirit Airlines, Brian Johnson. Hey, buddy.
What's going on, Charch? I thought this was an emergency proposal podcast. Our king and
down
queen.
On bended
It's really our queen
yes.
and king. Taylor comes first. Taylor and Travis.
It's, all the doubters who said
yes.
it was a romance of convenience. Now look, they're engaged. Kelsey and Taylor Swift. And they announced it on their own podcast platform, which I think was probably pretty smart. So, driving some engagement back to themselves and revenue back to themselves. Because
so we have to
Kelsey
get married
Swift
now. Do I have to propose now to bring up the numbers? Are we...
Call me a traditionalist, Brian, but I think you should go down on one knee and do the proposal the old-fashioned way.
Nah.
No?
Nah, new age.
All right.
Anyway, congrats to those crazy kids.
Yes, absolutely.
Kelsey better keep his head on straight, though. No wedding. I don't want him thinking about seating arrangements on Sunday, Travis.
Right. So
one more
Kelsey
year,
has
buddy.
Admitted he was distracted by Taylor Swift last year. So what's going to happen now? I mean, is that supposed to get better? I actually, I don't want them. I don't wish any disharmony on Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. But if she dumped him, Travis Kelce be playing mad. And I like the idea of a mad Travis Kelce playing.
Oh, yeah.
That would be okay. Focused,
I like
angry.
That narrative.
Right?
I like that narrative. But now Noah Gray.
Like
Noah Gray to the moon. I mean, Travis Kelce. Yeah, I'm worried. He's going to be worried about the seating arrangements. Like, where are the boys going on? Their bachelor party. Save them.
I'm with you. That's a concern. What's our bye week? That's going to be bachelor party week. Is their bye week potentially? I don't know.
Week 10. I'm ready for any team. Give me any team. I'll give you their bye week.
Yeah, that is true.
Kansas City.
Good. You've got it all down. Yeah, week 10, Kansas City. Today, we're going to talk about ADP exploders. These are guys rocketing up the draft boards. Should you ride the hype train, or will those players derail, your season? It's a very different proposition in guillotine leagues versus standard leagues when you can be chopped in week one. Brian and I are going to talk through the biggest movers up the draft boards. But before we get to that, Brian, lots of changes today. It's cut down day in the NFL. Super busy day. Hopefully your guillotine leagues weren't counting on anybody who gets cut today, but sometimes the implications of like depth players getting cuts, like Brian, for example, like a goal line vulture or potential goal line vulture gets cut. That could open up opportunities for somebody else to get a spike in touchdowns, stuff like that. So we're monitoring cut down day. There's a lot of news today. Some players hitting IR we're going to talk about. And Brian, I don't know about you, but on Hard Knocks, the HBO show, cut down day is always morbidly fascinating. Watching the coaches and the general managers breaking hearts year after year. They've done 20 seasons of Hard Knocks. It kind of never gets old.
No, that is I think I haven't seen the latest one. If we've gotten to that one with the Bills, but yeah, there have been some classic ones. Kevin O'Connell was like 20. The Rex Ryan foot year when Rex Ryan, when they were on Hard Knocks and they cut O'Connell. It was the GM. And it was they cut him in a cold fashion, but it was pretty cool. My boy Sam Darnold, spurred by the Jets too.
Yeah,
I don't want to go on a Darnold rant, but I won't do it. But anyway, yeah, cut down day. It's emotional, but I think in general, I'm tired of these training camp Hard Knocks. I like the in-season ones. I like the in-season ones, and the Giants one was great. Like the off-season, like the draft, and because it was like comedy, it ended up being like pure comedy after the fact, like the Saquon Barkley thing, and yeah. Anyway,
it's the players I always think take it pretty well. They're having their heart broken right there, but they always seem to take it like pros. And for many of them, they've been through it several times. It's not the first, and yeah. Ben
DiNucci, real quick, he tweeted. Everyone loves, especially in the fantasy industry, everyone's got to tweet their airport beers, right? Ben DiNucci tweets, I'm going to paraphrase a little, but it was like, no airport beer like getting cut for the 7th time in the NFL airport beer.
Which is very good. A lot of changes today, and I'm constantly updating my Guillotine-specific player rankings at fantasylife.com. Brian, if people want my Guillotine-specific rankings, how can they save 20% at fantasylife.com?
You can still use promo code BTXJ, save 20% off, and I've gotten some people have used the promo code. They've reached out, and I've reached back out, give them a little something nice. So, even if without the little extra something on the side, we'll work that on Twitter. Follow me at BTXJ, same code. Great stuff at Fantasy Life Plus. Gets better every day, literally. Always making improvements, adding new things. Promo code BTXJ. Thank you, Charch, to get your Guillotine. Let's
talk about two players with bad news injury-wise that we need to account for. We begin with Tajae Spears. He's been put on IR. He's going to miss at least the first 4 games of the season and maybe longer. We don't know after that. Anything involving a foot, never good for a running back. And we'll talk about Joe Mixon in a second. Tajae Spears, Brian, do you believe he is draftable at all? And if he is, where would you take Spears? And then secondarily, what does this do for Tony Pollard?
Pollard, well, we'll talk about the Titans week 1 matchup and how dangerous that is. They arguably have the worst matchup on the road at Denver. But back to Spears, I mean, Guillotine Leagues are deep, right? 18 teams. He is draftable, but by no means you cannot draft him as a starter, meaning the first 8 rounds. Really not even as your first, second bench player. It's just late depth. He's got to fall pretty far for me. And really, ideally, I have Tony Pollard and I'm handcuffing, Spears to Pollard, even though Spears, I'm don't get hurt in the first 4 weeks, Tony Pollard, right? But once Spears comes off IR, then I got the precious handcuff sitting there. So he is draftable, even if you don't have Pollard. But if I'm waiting for a discount if I don't have Pollard already, but if I have Pollard on roster, I might reach a little bit or draft Spears at ADP, which is sliding big time, though, as it should be. Injuries in Guillotine Leagues, they are far more deadlier than in standard formats. You cannot wait on them. So it's got to be a late round pick. Just like
for me, Spears dead. If he's going to miss at least 4 weeks and maybe longer, he's probably going to come up on the waiver wire in those 4 weeks because some team is entering September in their Guillotine League minus a player they could possibly start. They are wasting a bench spot on a player that can't help them. I think your chances of getting cut go up, and I think Spears will be available to me during those 4 weeks and maybe longer. So I'm not taking him. Let's go to Joe Mixon. So Mixon also going to miss at least 4 weeks, maybe longer. They've given us basically just no intel on this foot injury that he's got. But the fact that this thing has been lingering now for months, really, really disappointing news for anybody who's already invested in Joe Mixon. We're going to talk about Nick Chubb in a minute, but let's talk about the Mixon side of this. Is he draftable for you?
It's pretty much the same scenario as Spears for me. And by the way, I mean, I agree, essentially not draftable, but when we're talking round 13, 14 in a Guillotine League, we're like 200 plus ADP.
I know.
Guys are easily, it's fluid there. You can drop them in a second. But anyway, Mixon in the same boat regarding his situation, very ominous statements by head coach D'Amico Ryans, referencing a deep running back room and guys that can get them through the season when playing without Mixon. So, again, maybe if we're going to talk about Nick Chubb in a second, who is the starter for now, but yeah, it's the last round pick with Mixon, maybe 13th round. If I have a Texan on roster, if I'm trying to just lock down that backfield, maybe I do have Chubb and Woody Marks and then take Mixon with my last pick. But essentially, no, not draftable. Guys on IR. No. All
right. What about me? My guy, Dameon Pierce. I would take Dameon Pierce before I would take Joe Mixon.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's going to come up with the Nick Chubb little.
All right, good.
Ditty here.
Right. Yeah, we'll talk about him in a second. Then. All right, outstanding. GuillotineLeagues.com now features Slow chop. It's a new option where one team gets chopped every 2 weeks. So the team with the lowest score over the previous 2 weeks gets chopped instead of just one. Slow chop is a much more forgiving format, especially for those of you who self-identify as wussies, chickens, and cowards.
Hey,
slow chop
it mitigates
at GuillotineLeague.com.
The injury BS though, right? Which we can all fall victim to. So I like it. People have asked for it, and it's now available in both public and private leagues. You can create your own slow chop league.
I can assure you, listeners right now are trying to figure out which of those 3 buckets, if not all of them, you fall into, Brian, with the slow chop option at GuillotineLeagues.com. One more news item that I want to get your reaction to. Jakobi Meyers has asked for a trade from the Raiders. I had to move him down my cheat sheet quite a bit because at this late stage of the season, Brian, if he does get traded, even if he goes to a situation where he is needed, how much help can he be for his new team in such a short window with only 2 weeks to get up to speed and ready to learn the offense? So for me, Jakobi Meyers, who's been a favorite on this show, and we've talked about him many times here and on Fantasy Football Weekly, we loved his consistency, his grittiness. He had 0 drops last year. There's a lot to like about Jakobi Meyers, but this is a dangerous situation specific to guillotine leagues where we don't want to get chopped in September.
Yeah, I totally agree. If he gets traded, you got to drop him like maybe a round in terms of his ADP, but I don't believe he's going to get traded. I mean, the rubber meets the road and like he really wants to get traded because Amari Cooper got signed, I would hope they just say, okay, sorry, Amari, we're not going to trade Jakobi Meyers over you, unless they really think. I mean, the question here is, do you draft Amari Cooper? Probably yes in the last round. I would draft Amari Cooper over Joe Mixon at this point. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Terry McLaurin was going to get traded, right? Juwan Jennings was going to get traded. I don't think Myers is going to get traded. But if he does, yes, it's a slight downgrade. But again, I don't know if you're not going to start him in a guillotine league if he gets traded. I mean,
that's the dangerous. I mean, there's a lot of danger with that.
I think he's still flex worthy, but I don't know. I don't think he's any. Who cares what I think? What anyone thinks, right?
Well, if we care
in terms
what
of if he's
you're on
going to
the
get
show
traded or not. No, in terms of if he's going to get traded or not, we don't know. But I don't believe he's going to get traded. But anyway, if he does, yes, you have to ding him a little bit, without a doubt. We'll cross that bridge if we get there, but I don't think we will.
This episode's all about ADP exploders, guys who are vaulting up draft boards. Should you pay the new expensive price for these players? And these ADP exploders are brought to you by GoPuff. You want to win every week. Keep your lineup on point with the GoPuff Draft Champion, available at fantasylife.com, and keep your snack stash stocked with the GoPuff app. That's beer, snacks, groceries delivered in as little as 15 minutes, which is mind-boggling. Get 60% off your first order when you use the code FANTASYLIFE60. That's all one word, FANTASYLIFE60 for 60% off. GoPuff. All right, Brian, we've already alluded to this player a couple of times. Let's begin with this big ADP riser, Nick Chubb, moving up about 2 rounds in ADP over the course of the month of August. Now going roughly round 5 of Guillotine League drafts. Are you paying the expensive new price on Nick Chubb?
Man, it's getting a little too pricey for me with Chubb. Even though with Chubb, I'm just focused on like the first 2 or 3 weeks, right? He's healthy right now. We don't know. 29 years old, turns 30 in late December. We don't know, how long he can last into the season. So I'm just looking at the first 2 games, really. But it's at the Rams and then Tampa Bay. Those are brutal matchups for Chubb, who he's got competition in the aforementioned Woody Marks and Dameon Pierce for touches. They're going to go to Chubb to start, but tough matchups on the road in week 1. I'm not paying 5th round. Of course, a guillotine league is 18 teams per round, 18 picks per round, but round 5, I'm taking a wide receiver there, just someone with a safer PPR floor, and I don't believe Chubb has that. I still think Woody Marks is going to factor on 3rd down. It's going to probably be a ramp-up process, but I'm out on Chubb. I'm not buying the rip on Nick Chubb right now. Can't do it.
I am buying on Chubb, so this is where you and I are going to differ a little bit. The round 5 price tag, I get Houston starting running back. Now, I don't like the Houston offensive line. That part scares me. The depth behind Chubb doesn't scare me as much, even though I love Dameon Pierce and always felt like he's been underutilized. Still feel like Chubb is going to get the majority of work. I'm going to get an NFL starting running back. Round 5 is not the end of the world. Currently going off the board is RB40. There's only 32 teams and there's only 32 starting running backs. I feel like I'm getting okay value at running back 40 for Nick Chubb. So, I'm in here, and second year off ACL, right to get better than he was last year when he still looked like he was laboring on that leg. Still young enough where I think he could bounce back and be at least reasonably productive, and he should get all the goal line work. So I'm in on Chubb at round 5. Let's go to the single biggest mover up the boards over the course of the last month.
In the history of fantasy football.
Yeah, maybe. Washington running back Jakobi Meyers. He has moved up from running back 66 at the beginning of the month all the way to running back 24 right now, end of the 4th round. He sent Brian Robinson packing to San Francisco, and he got rested last week when the Commanders rested their starter for the preseason game, their final preseason game. Jakobi Meyers got rested with it. Now, I'll say this. To my eyes, Jakobi Meyers has just looked okay in the preseason. He's Pro Football Focus grade through this preseason is running back 108. He has turned 19 carries into 70 yards. That's just a 3.9 yard per carry average. That's not great. And this preseason, Jakobi Meyers has played 0 snaps with the Commanders' first team offense. The majority of his preseason snaps came with 4th string quarterback Sam Hartman, who just got cut. Also, the Commanders have Chris Rodriguez, who's pretty good. His 2 years in the league, he's averaged 4.8 and 4.9 yards per carry. And that's not bad. Bill has bounced around colleges. He's only put up 1 big season, really. And Dane Brugler noted this last thing on Jakobi Meyers. Just 125 career yards have come against Power 4 competition in college. So I'm just not feeling this end of round 4. Just is, to me, way too much risk on an unproven rookie when I can get a proven player in round number 4, Brian.
Yeah, I'm with you. The hype has gotten a little too out of control, especially in guillotine leagues where we can't afford a slow start. And you didn't even mention Austin Eckler, who he's still alive and he's still going to play. And who knows? I mean, maybe Austin Eckler is like not a bell cow, but the starter, right? Like, right. I'm going to actually look at odds. Like if he takes the first snap, if it's plus money, I'm going to make that bet. But yeah, I mean, you would have to think, especially on passing downs, they're going to be using Eckler, and you want that floor in a running back that early in a guillotine league draft. So yeah, and we're going to talk about Chris Rodriguez in a minute.
Let's do it. Well, let's do it right now. I mean, you can go right into him if you want to.
Sure, he's 6th round pick, but he was a higher draft pick than Bill, right? Bill was a 7th round pick in 2023.
Yeah, you're talking about you're talking about the college equity. Yes.
Yep. In 2023, so still young, 5'11". 225. That's big. He's almost a little too tall. Big kid. But he's not like a pass catching back. He's not like going to slide in behind Eckler. He could very well be the goal line back. And coaches say he stuck with it, which kind of it's good. It's like, oh, he's a hard worker. But I read between the lines a little more there, where it's like they wanted to get him on the field last year, but they're just too. They couldn't. They had too many plays. Brian Robinson at the time, Austin Eckler still. So I'm in on Rodriguez. Where what running back 60 something?
He's running back 55, round 9 for Chris Rodriguez. So
it's getting up there. It's getting up there, but round 9, that's a reserve spot there, right? I've filled my starting, so I am intrigued with Rodriguez as my first bench option player. So I'm in.
Yeah,
at that route.
I could see a three-man rotation in Washington, and those are bad, generally bad for guillotine use. As you mentioned, we care a lot about the start of the season. We are trying to mitigate risk, and there's a lot of unknowns here. Austin Eckler, to me, is the player I want at his ADP in that Washington backfield. Let's go to another big mover. Miami running back Ollie Gordon. At the beginning of the month, running back 90. Today, he's moved up to running back 51, according to our ADP report, which you can get at fantasylife.com. But I think that ADP report tends to go back several days. And I think Ollie Gordon has done nothing but move up more lately. You might have to pay higher than running back 51 now, but that's at least round 8. And he's now going ahead of Jalen Wright. Jalen Wright is not expected to play week 1 due to the injury that he's got. So it looks like it's going to be Achane and Ollie Gordon as your 1-2 punch in Miami. And Gordon has looked good, Brian. I mean, mowing down third and fourth string slappies with ease. He ranks 4th in preseason yards after contact with 101. And the Dolphins need some thunder to counteract Devon Achane's lightning. And Gordon looks like he's going to bring the thunder. He can catch, by the way. He can pass block pretty well. So he's not automatically a 0 on third down. So there's some things you can do with Ollie Gordon here. The downside is this. He is slow. Gordon ran at the combine. His 40 time was a 4.61. Brian, I mean, there's a point at which you just don't have NFL viable speed. And Ollie Gordon is like right on that line. And yeah, he was mowing down third and fourth string defenders, but he might be a sitting duck at that speed against first string defenders come the regular season. I love his hard charging ways. I love that he runs as hard as he does, but this Miami offense has got a lot of question marks, including across the offensive line where the team's highest ranked blocker, Terron Armstead, was lost to retirement. I think I am not going to pay Ollie Gordon's round 8 and rising price. How about you?
Yeah, you laid that out perfectly for all the reasons not to. And we have a long history of pretty much hating on rookies, right? At least in the starter range. And that's where round 8 is. You're drafting a starter there, or you should be. Do not be drafting quarterback 2 in round 8 in a guillotine league. Probably really you should be waiting till round 8 to draft your first quarterback, your last starter. But anyway, yeah, there's too much unknowns with Gordon. You laid it all out. We'll see what happens. And if you start slow, again, with all these players, any player, is draft day is not your only chance to get them. Even if there's no trading. They all become available at some point if you survive. So I'm out on Gordon in round 8. A little too risky for a starting spot on my guillotine.
Now we should mention Devon Achane hurt now already, getting ahead of the curve on the injuries. And if it turns out Achane's injury is pretty significant, that would certainly change my mind here. And we're going to leave the door open for that. When it's a shared backfield, I worry a little bit about what happens to Ollie Gordon in any game in which he does not score. Let's talk about Xfinity, sponsor of this very show, the Chop Podcast, introducing a 5-year price guarantee from Xfinity. One internet price, 5 years guaranteed. Life is unpredictable, but the price of your internet should not be. Get a reliable price with a reliable connection from Xfinity. All in means all in. You get Wi-Fi equipment and unlimited data included. This whole episode is about change, Brian. Changing draft positions, teams change, players come and go, but no matter what changes in your next 5 years, the price of your internet's going to stay the same. Stay the same. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. All right, Brian, let's go to our next ADP riser, and that is Chargers wide receiver Keenan Allen. He wasn't on a team at the beginning of August when people were throwing darts at wide receiver 99. Now he's up to wide receiver 62. That is a 12th round price tag in Guillotine Leagues. What do you think about Keenan Allen? Are you paying the new price?
Yeah, time is a flat circle. 5 years ago, was on the Chargers. Here we are again, back with there was probably San Diego Chargers at the time. Matt might be able to check on that for us, Matt Lamarca, our producer. But yeah, Keenan is back. Unlike basically every year, even with the Bears last year, where he was 17th in targets, by the way, despite missing 2 games, 121 targets. That's a healthy amount. Keenan's pretty much always been the guy. Even last year, that's not going to be the case this year, you would think, with Ladd McConkey, the wide receiver 1 for the Chargers. So we're probably not looking at 121 target volume, like that kind of per game clip. But I think Keenan's going to command 6-7 targets per game. He's had some injury issues over the last 3 years. I mentioned the 2 games missed last year, 13 games played in 23, 10 in 22. So, but we're like Nick Chubb with Keenan Allen. I'm just worried about the first 2 or 3 weeks with him if he's serviceable, and I think he will be in some good matchups at home against the Chiefs in Week 1, then at Las Vegas. Those 2 games I'm probably going to be taking the over on. So I don't know. I Quentin Johnson, he's a spike week player. Trey Harris is a rookie, unknown. I don't see why Justin Herbert doesn't look Keenan Allen's way early and often, especially when Ladd McConkey is going to get the premium coverage right now. So I love Keenan Allen right now, and this is anecdotal, but like I was investing in him when he was dirt cheap, not on the team, but I'm buying the rip still. I think he's still a value right now. I believe in Keenan Allen. I think he's got gas in the tank.
I don't think Keenan Allen's going to get you a lot of touchdowns, but Brian, I can easily envision a scenario where one of the players with the best hands to ever play the wide receiver position, and that's not an exaggeration with Keenan Allen. I could see him netting a lot of 5-catch, 50-yard games.
All we need.
And that keeps you alive through September, early October is those 10 PPR points. That's all I want. And I can see Keenan Allen. I don't think you're going to get explosive results. I think you could get consistent results. Round 12 feels like a very fair price for Keenan Allen. I'm with you on him.
He can get that on one drive still. He's got that ability. He gets
5 catches on 50. Well, maybe.
3
that seems like a lot.
But anyway, my point is he was productive last year. He got hurt. I think he'll still be productive to start the season. I'm hoping he is. So, yeah, I like Keenan at this price. Still on the way up.
I'm with
buying.
You. And producer Matt just lighting you up. The Chargers have been in LA for a decade.
No way. Well,
this is their 10th year in LA.
It's a blur working in this industry. You know that.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. 10 years?
10 years. 10 years.
Well, yeah, they were playing like in the Rose Bowl for a while. Or where were they playing in LA? Because that stadium isn't 10 years old.
No, yeah, the stadium's like 5. SoFi's 5. So yeah, they were playing elsewhere. I don't remember. Matt, where were the Chargers playing for those 5 years before SoFi?
Did you see what you've done?
Was it the Coliseum? I don't remember.
I think it was.
I don't remember. All right, our last big riser, and he's moved up a ton. Detroit wide receiver Isaac Tesla. At the beginning of the month, he was wide receiver 91. Today, wide receiver 55. And again, I'll say this. He's moving so fast right now. I think our ADP reports are a little behind. He's probably got a little bit higher than wide receiver 55. You can presume a roughly round 9 cost on Isaac Tesla, who has looked
I'm sorry to cut you off
so far. Yes.
You kind of ribbed me because I said throw a few bucks on him last week and for the first bidding period for completed leagues. But I think a few bucks was worth it now. After the worm,
it certainly feels like value right now.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. I'm wrong a lot, as the listeners know. Right now, coming off an amazing preseason, Pro Football Focus is wide receiver 11. He's the only player in the preseason with 3 receiving touchdowns, remarkable body control, never dropped a pass in 2 years at Arkansas. Isaac Tesla. But here's the thing, Brian. And here's why I'm still hesitant in the guillotine format. Way higher on Tesla and best ball, especially, which is basically the opposite of guillotine. One, Dan Campbell doesn't play many starters in the preseason, and Tesla's action has come entirely with second and third team offenses. And there's still Tim Patrick, who did not play a snap in this preseason, along with all the other starters for the Lions. So Tim Patrick didn't go. Khalif Raymond didn't get a lot of action in the preseason. And those are guys who are potentially going to share service time with Tesla. That's bad news for guillotine. At Arkansas, Tesla played from the slot almost exclusively. And the Lions have a Pro Bowl player who runs from the slot primarily, Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Lions have got 6, count them 6, bona fide scoring threats. And I just worry that there's not enough pigskin to go around for Tesla to become a regular, dependable Guillotine League asset when you've got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta, and now him. Brian, I just think in this format, this is not the right spot to play Isaac Tesla at this stage of his career, and that's with the right for that to change during the NFL season.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's it's feeling like a broken record at this point. But yeah, rookies, you're drafting them in as a starter. It's really, really risky, and especially with Tesla, who you mentioned, Amon-Ra St. Brown, of course, Jameson Williams is gonna soak up targets. Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs. So yeah, it's kind of a wait and see for me with Tesla. You just can't trust him as a starter, and that's where you have to draft him now. So again, he's probably a guy we're gonna be talking about on this show for bidding advice, because maybe not. You never know. I will say his preseason reminds me of Victor Cruz's, where you're like, is this guy for real? And lo and behold,
yeah,
Victor Cruz was for real. Yeah. But the Giants did not have an Amon-Ra St. Brown, a Jameson Williams, a Sam Laporta, a Jahmyr Gibbs back in those days. But they did go to the Super Bowl. I'm going on a rant, but anyway.
No, it's fine. Well, it's okay.
Not a rant.
Producer Matt noting that the Chargers played in StubHub Center in Carson. How do I not remember any of this? From 2017 to 2019.
Was that a soccer stadium? That was like MLS?
It must be. Yeah, I don't know.
I kind of remember
soccer
that.
Soccer stadium, Matt is saying. Yeah, it had to be tiny. But they didn't bring any fans. I mean, that's always been the problem for the Chargers, right? Is all of their San Diego fan base was pissed off that they moved and didn't go with them to LA, and everybody in LA already had the Rams coming up Super Bowl. So Chargers with that tiny fan base, but they do have that one lady who you may remember from a Monday Night Football game or Thursday Night Football game a couple of years ago, who was going berserk for the Chargers. She seemed like a super fan. So they got
she was an actress though, right? That was a bit.
Chargers seem that way.
Everything's a bit these days. Anything you see on the big screen at a sport, like they're planted there. It's all a bit.
What are you saying about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift right now?
Yeah, no, that's not a bit. He didn't propose on the big screen, did he? At a preseason game? That would have been funny.
That would have been bad. I hope not. How
did he propose? I didn't hear him. It must have been epic. Like
I only saw a photo from their social media, so I don't know how the proposal went down.
Engineered unicorn, something along those lines.
It must have been an elaborate unicorn.
Oh, I'm sure they got one.
Yes. Look, if it turns out unicorns were ever real, someday we're going to be genetically breeding unicorns, and or we're just going to figure out how to make a horse grow a horn, and we're just going to make our own unicorn someday.
I don't know if we're allowed to. We got to be careful about like bad mouthing movies and studios nowadays, right? But there is a certain movie about a unicorn that dies. It's on the streaming service. So bad, don't watch it. I don't know if you know the movie I'm talking about.
I don't know that movie.
All right. Well, I will.
Was unicorn Tom Cruise in the movie?
No, Paul Rudd. You got to love Paul Rudd, but not. It was a big whiff. Big whiff. It was one of those movies where the trailer was like, "Whoa, looks cool."
Yes. Matt has correctly noted this episode has jumped the unicorn, and it didn't make the full jump, and it has impaled itself on the unicorn horn. And on that note, we will wrap up this episode of Chop. I'll be back with Thor Nystrom. On Thursday, we're going to talk about the opposite. Players with sliding ADPs and whether or not you want to pay the new low price on these players. We hope you'll come back Thursday for the next episode of Chop, the Guillotine League Podcast.